It's 12:05 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday. That means it's Helping Seniors of Brevard Day. And right now, here's your host of Helping Seniors of Brevard, Joe Steckler. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon, John, and thank you for moderating the show today and running the panel and making sure people understand what the three of us in the booth here are saying. And with me in the booth is Barbara McIntyre of the Reverse Mortgage Funding, and I got that right. I've been doing this for years, but I always mess it up. But I got it right today, and I'm not going to let Barbara talk yet because she did something to me, and I'll have to tell you all about it. And I'm going to reluctantly remind you that Kerry Fink is in the booth, and Kerry went back on his computer, and he proved to me that it was in 2015 he told me what Barbara told me this morning, but I'm going to have to get them both to tell you about it because they know more than I do. But having said that, I kind of feel like that subscription or that inscription is on the base of the Statue of Liberty. It's called the New Colossus. It says something like, bring us your old, bring us your tired, bring us your hungry, bring us whatever you want to bring us. But I feel like I've been run over by that proverbial truck today, folks. And but, you know, having said that, when I hear something or I read something that Barbara and Kim just pointed out to me in this both, sort of shifts the emphasis on what we're going to talk about today. But I want to talk about reverse mortgage funding just for a minute because Barbara will explain to you that if ever there was a right time to do this, now is the time, and she'll explain why. We're not telling you to do it, but we're saying you'll have the information that if you want to make it will help you make a decision. I never encourage you to do something. I always try to just get you the right information. But I just want to remind people that some of the sponsors for the show are organizations called the I Institute, the Vitas Hospice Healthcare, Bill Johnson, elder law attorney, Ruth Rhodes, who's an attorney. She also does elder law, but she does general law. She does bankruptcy. She does mortgages. She does all kinds of stuff, and she's got a pretty good staff. But there's also one of our newest sponsors is Monarch Homes, and they have some beautiful homes out in the Viera area, and these are some of the things you need to look up because so many people are trying to make the decision about moving and about when the time to downsize. And I found it over in the new resource center in Zon Beachside Assisted Living where we have an office. And Kerry will talk about this a little bit more because they're going to put some seminars on that are extremely important for our listeners to know about because a great deal of the mission of helping seniors is to educate, inform, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors with resources that are available to them. And before we even get into what we were going to talk about on the show today, I would like for two culprits, Barbara and Kerry, to tell you about something that has enabled 7,962,565 people to discover $31.1 billion in resources that are available to every one of us in the United States through the National Council on Aging. And it just goes to show you that if we don't talk about it, read about it, or somehow find out about these wonderful things, we will never, never know. So I can give you my word, this afternoon and this evening, I will be researching this site to see what I have missed out on, even though Kerry sent it to me. And I believe he did, roughly 5 years ago. And it just kind of boggles my mind that I've had 5 years, I've talked to you all and written articles on how to get help when I have probably missed one of the best resources available nationwide to our people. So, Barbara, I'll let you talk about it first because you use when I keep talking about you with reverse mortgage funding, many people think we're just trying to promote reverse mortgage funding, but you actually work with this website and you work with organizations like Helping Seniors. So, why? Why do you do that?
Well, I do it because I believe that the product that I know so much about, which is a reverse mortgage, is just one thing that can be a piece to someone's retirement. And so my mission is to really bring the information to seniors in Brevard County and their families for all kinds of services and tools that's going to help their retirement be the best it can be. And I was just tickled to death when I just this week, not in 2015, was introduced to what's called Benefits Checkup. And it has been around apparently because Kerry saw it before in 2015. And all I can think is this website is so amazing that they've spent all those years continuing to put the resources on the website so that it's driven by your zip code. And all you have to do is enter the zip code that you live in, and then there's a very simple checklist as far as your age, your sex, your income bracket, and then you just hit enter, and it asks you, what do you want information about? And then you can select whether it's about cheaper ways to purchase your prescriptions. It takes that information and further fine-tunes it to what are the medicines you take on a regular basis. I was ecstatic with that because many of my clients are paying huge amounts for prescriptions that perhaps they could get cheaper. So this website, I was just so excited I couldn't wait to come see you today, Joe, to give you the info.
Okay, you said it's been available since 2015. I thought that Kerry said he sent it to me in 2015. When did you send it to me, Kerry?
April 17th, 2015. However, it's actually been around for a while. I learned about this program many years ago through Marty Hinesley, who, as you know, is also a strong senior advocate. And he was literally waving a pamphlet at that time in my face saying, Kerry, you guys need to be really on top of this because this is something that you go in and you put in your zip code and you it will pull up all sorts of benefits that you should look into. And I'm pretty sure at the time that we had it. It should be part of as people call our office. And I wanted to say that, by the way, if you don't have access to a computer or you're maybe not proficient with a computer, not a problem. That's what we're here to do and help you with. So if you call Kim Bernard in our Helping Seniors Senior Information Helpline, which is, let me give you that number and give you just a moment to grab a pencil so you can write that down. The Helping Seniors Senior Information Helpline is 473-7770. So again, let me say that correctly, 321-473-7770. And if you call Kim and you say, listen, I heard Joe and Barbara talking about this checkup that you can do through NCOA, then she will be able to walk you through it by asking you for a few questions. But if you have a computer yourself, you'll want to go to NCOA.org, NCOA.org. That's the National Council on Aging. There's a lot of great information in there because they sort of advocate and they keep up with what's going on legislatively. But they actually have 3 different tools that you can use on their website. One is the Benefits Checkup, which is exactly what we were just talking about. You put the zip code in and you answer a series of questions and it gives you something that you can print out and take with you, and a lot of different places you can call, things you can do, but things that are probably going to be very helpful to your own aging plan. There's also one called the Economic Checkup, which they say get tips and resources to manage your budget, save money, avoid scams, find a job, and more. And they also have a deal called Medicare Matters. Explore how to make the most of your Medicare benefits and find the best plan for you. So there's a lot of self-service tools that you can find there. But I also want to encourage you because we're here to serve you. And if you'll call us on the Helping Seniors of Brevard helpline at 321-473-7770, we'll do our best to make sure you get this information, plus local information and things that we're aware of locally that could be of benefit as well.
I was going to jump back in and say you can also get to the Benefits Checkup directly with benefitscheckup.org, and that will take you directly to just that one aspect. Here's some of the things that you can select to find out information in your zip code that could help you save money. Medication, health care, income assistance, food and nutrition, housing and utilities. I bet a lot of folks don't know that you can actually get help with 2 months a year of your utilities being paid for you if you are of a certain income level. There's tax relief, veterans, employment, transportation, education, discounts, and other assistance. So this is just a really a wonderful website. And definitely, if you are computer literate, you can go directly to benefitscheckup.org, and this information is right there.
And a good thing about calling our office is that if you're not computer literate, Kim and Kerry and some of these other people are, and we'll vector you to them, not to me, because I kind of am in your category. Sometimes I wonder why I can't get on my computer, and I squeeze the edge of it together where it seems to be coming apart. This is a second one of these types of computers I've had that's done this, and I'm not going to mention the computer name, but I don't believe in expensive machines like this, because it seems like every 3 months they change what they're worth. So investing a lot of money in a computer, for some people, maybe it's all right, but I think for the average dude, you don't need to do that. And you can buy these computers, folks, very, very economically. If you go to Sam's, you go to Best Buy, you'd be surprised that some of you that can't get around all the stuff that you can look at on these computers and things that will help you. It can be entertaining. You can look at I even found out yesterday, Netflix is available on a computer. If you, and it's something like $15 a month. You spend that much, you go to a movie with popcorn and candy, and you don't even know what you're sitting in while you're sitting in that theater. So, you can do all this stuff in the cleanliness and the privateness of your own home. And the thing I like about it, if you're taking water pills, the bathroom is not too far away. So, these are some of the things that as we get older, we have to start thinking about whether we want to do it or not. Because if you have a certain problem, let's say, and I'm talking a medical thing, those of you that are prone to water retention and you're just afraid to take water pills because you don't want to admit you're taking them, you're making a very, very big mistake, because while swollen legs and everything look unsightly, you don't know what else it's doing to your lymph node system within your body if you don't try to get rid of that water, because it does affect your heart, it does affect so many other things. And you need to pay attention to what your doctor is telling you to do all times. And I think a lot of us, as we get older, we tend to forget these things, and we just don't pay attention. And what before I forget it, I would like Barbara just to take a minute, because we're going to try and tie a lot of this stuff up on the second part of the show. But Barbara, take a minute and explain to the people listening, our listening audience. And so when you hear this, folks, try to pass on what Barbara's going to tell you to friends of yours that you think are contemplating a reverse mortgage. Barbara, you go and you explain it a lot better than I can.
Okay, Joe. I when I first got here today, I said to you that there's just no better time than right now to take a look again at this mortgage. And the reason for that is that the benefit, or how much a borrower can actually get, is tied directly to the interest rate that's used for the product. And that rate, like anything, goes up and it goes down. The lower it is, the more available equity is there for the borrower. So some people looked at this mortgage over the last couple years and they said, wait a minute, that's just not giving me enough access to enough of my equity. So I'm just not interested. And after October of 2017, I actually agreed. For a while, I wrote very few because I thought, you know what, the benefit's just not there. And it doesn't make sense for a lot of people to go forward unless they have access to more of their equity. Well, the good news is that over the last number of months, these rates, the interest rate has come down, down, down. And right now, it is a peak time to give maximum benefit to borrowers who looked at this right around the October 2017 and after time frame. They will be shocked to see how much more equity is available.
Barbara, using a figure that we maybe say $100,000, and can you explain?
Well, it's difficult, Joe, because there's a few things that go into play to determine what a borrower can get. And one of the factors is the interest rate, which is why the fact that it's low makes it such a good time to at least look at the benefit.
Why? Why is that?
Because the lower the interest rate, the higher the value of what the borrower can get. They can get more cash from their home when the rates are lower. But the other factor that goes into play is the age of the borrower. And that's why there is no great answer when you ask me that question.
Okay.
Based on 100,000, what could someone get? Because a 62-year-old is going to be eligible for probably 50% of the equity in their house. But an 82-year-old might be eligible for 70%. So it's just not a cut and dried kind of thing, which is why working with local originators and originators of this product from reputable companies, I'm a believer knowledge is power, and I'm also a believer that it's not for everyone. It's for people who really do say they want to stay in their home, live there for numbers of years. It's worth looking into to see if making that equity available to them as part of a long-term retirement strategy is worth it. And if they're going to live in their house and that's their plan, then I recommend people, as soon as they're eligible at age 62, go ahead and look at it. And we've talked about what I've done with my HECM that I put on my home when I was 62. And the purpose that the reason I did it was because I wanted to create a credit line that would be available to me when I'm older if I need home health care. Because the credit line, unique only to the reverse mortgage, will actually give me access to more and more of my equity over the years, so it grows. So $100,000 of available money at 62 could very easily be giving me access to $350,000 when I'm 82. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I can prove it.
Well, I think, Barbara, that when we talk about these reverse mortgages or any type of borrowing or any type of creation of a loan, whoever does it, for whatever reason they do it for, should do it in conjunction with an attorney that is an attorney or a person such as you, or and a combination of you and an investment person that understands the whole parameters of this reverse mortgage process, and what it could also do to other options you might have for capturing income as you get older. I think that a strategy could be that you could get more money at a certain age than you could at another age, and you could take that money and you could invest it and grow money. But if you do something like that, you have got to be committed to it, just like somebody that plays the stock market. If you, and I've not done this. I followed a parameter somebody told me many years ago. If you can't afford to invest in the stock market, don't do it.
Absolutely.
And
I'd never, ever recommend someone look at a reverse mortgage or a home equity conversion mortgage, which is the FHA insured reverse mortgage, and suggest that they should take housing wealth, housing equity, and then turn around and invest it in something to try to make money. That is a very bad strategy.
But at the same time, though, a good strategy might be that if somebody had the willpower to take out one of these things when a timing was most right for them, and then to set that money aside for a rainy day that they might actually need it, if they had the willpower to do that. But most people, once they get that money in hand, might be tempted to take a vacation, buy a new, huge, large TV, or do something with that money they don't need to do it with, and they're sort of abrogating what they've done that could put them in a good financial situation.
And, that's why FHA made, and they always make changes and have over years continually made changes to the product to try to educate and prevent less, I hate to say responsible, but less savvy borrowers from drawing all the money out and then blowing through it. That's why things like the line of credit, which is 100% insured and the growth on it is 100% guaranteed, can't be reduced, canceled, or called due because it is a contractual growth within this mortgage. That's why that protection is so important. So pulling the money out of a reverse mortgage for the sole purpose of saving it makes absolutely no sense at all. Leaving it in a long-term line of credit doesn't cost the borrower anything because you only owe what you borrow. So access to a line of credit is not a debt. It's still just your equity waiting for you to need it. I work a great deal with financial planners, and I work with them with the client who sometimes got in touch with me because the planner asked them to call me. And then I have met with that client with their advisor. We've looked at their overall financial strategy to see where the HECM or the reverse mortgage fit into the plan. And I have rarely, if ever, had an advisor say, this is not a good idea. Again, it all came down to, does this borrower want to stay in their home? It's only a bad idea if you want to move out of your home and go into assisted living, or, you just don't see yourself staying and aging in place. It's not a short-term loan.
Kerry, while we've been talking, you've been banging away on that computer. What did you come up with?
Well, I come up with the fact that I think the concept of what you guys have been talking about, and Barb has been talking about in particular, about how you use these funds as part of your overall strategy. And I was thinking back to the conversation we were having earlier, also about the Benefits Checkup tool as well. All of these go together, Joe, into what you have always encouraged people to do, which is create a consolidated aging plan that has to do with, I think you call it elements of care, as people progress from one area of need to the next. And this is why putting together the aging plan is so important, because like Barb says, when she takes she goes ahead and sets this up early in the eventual possibility that she may need to use it. So she's already got it in place before there's an emergency and before there's a problem. So she's really done correct steps then to help do that. And as you know, Joe, a lot of times we got
to take a midterm break.
Yep.
if you can hold that thought and remember what you got there, we'll pick up on it because we're getting what we call elements of care. We need to talk about that. So let's take our mid-show break. Take it away, John.
12:35 is our time here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday, Joe Steckler helping seniors of Brevard Day. Let's get back to more of the show, and here's your host, Joe Steckler. Joe?
Thank you, John. Before we get started on the second half, folks, I just want to mention a couple more of our sponsors because these are people that you could use yourself if you find something. Dr. Sheldon is a periodontist, but he also does dental implants, but he's a periodontist, and one of the first things almost good periodontists believe is in saving teeth, not extracting them, but saving them. And a lot of teeth can be saved if you get the right kind of dental care, not just somebody who wants to go pull them out, but somebody who wants to keep them in there and treat them, and so they can stay. Hibiscus Court Assisted Living Facility, you have a memory care place there. Ear care, Dr. Karen has been with us for a long, long time. They're a great place to go for hearing aids. They'll treat you right. Chateau Mountain Lane, Senior Living and Memory Care, Brevard Relocate Realty Group, also Place Like Home, and the Care Plus health plans. You see that we got a wide array of people that help us, and that's why I say our primary mission is education, information, and connecting people with resources. Because I've done this stint at answering the phones, and I know all the kinds of calls that come in, and I've got a whole notebook that I kept of when I was answering a phone for almost 9 months. I'm fielding the calls that came in for help and assistance. And I can assure you, folks, there might be 7,962,565 people that availed themselves of $31.1 billion in benefits. I've listened to several hundred phone calls over the last 9 months that didn't know about those kind of benefits, but we sure did a good job of getting them to what was available now in Brevard County. Now I'm going to personally find out more what's available, and that's what you can do. Because the greatest person for helping you find out what's available to you is you yourself, if you take the time to do it. And there's no great secret for success in any of this. A lot of it is talking to the right person, listening to the right radio show, or watching the right TV show, or being in the right place at the right time that can tell you about veterans benefits, aid and attendance, and all that stuff we talk about here on the radio show. And I knew we were going to talk about some things with Barbara. It had to do with the reverse mortgage interest and that work and everything. But I also knew that by getting Barbara and Kerry together here that they have a whole wide range of information that they can make available to you. And once we start talking, so many things get triggered. And none of us, and maybe Barbara knew that we were going to talk about this benefits checkup thing for the National Council on Aging. And I assure you, folks, it's not a scam type thing. The National Council on Aging is verifiable. It's a real organization that has honest programs. There's nothing scam about it. You can take it to the bank that what's on there it exists. And the sad part about it, so many good programs exist in other parts of the country that do not exist here. Conversely, we have things here that other parts of the country don't have. So it's kind of a trade-off, and where the trade-off really comes in and important is that when you hear people like Barbara talk on the radio, that a person that is involved in a program like reverse mortgage funding that can tell you honest ways, and she can also tell you how she has used the system to benefit herself. So she's not just trying to sell you something. She's trying to give you information that can let you make an informed decision. Now, I cut Kerry off when we had the first part of the show we had the intermission, and now I talked, and I'm going to test Kerry's memory because I got a test there for Alzheimer's, but I'm not going to give in to because I'm pretty sure Kerry will remember. And if he doesn't remember what he's going to talk about, I'll tell you. Now, what were you going to talk about, Kerry?
So we were talking about the elements of care as it pertains to your aging plan.
You remembered.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's important because I think if there's one thing, and you said it so well, you know, the person who should be most vitally interested in your aging plan would be you, because this is your life and how much you enjoy it, and the things that you're able to accomplish and do day by day are those things that you set out and you plan and have a plan to do. And so, again, one of the things we were actually talking over the break that it might be an idea that helping seniors, now that we have the beautiful facility over at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, we may want to pull together some sort of develop your aging plan seminar or talk, where it's a workshop, might be even a better term, where people can actually sit down with a notebook and at least begin to outline these thoughts. Like we talked before the break, how Barb had put together the idea that she wanted to make sure she had in place this financial tool, the reverse mortgage, at age 62, understanding how it would impact her later years. And that's very typical of the things I've heard you talk about throughout the life of this, how important it is to get your aging plan together, Joe.
And it is very important to put all the pieces in place. You know, when I start to meet with folks, the first thing I ask them is, where do they see themselves in 5 years? No one has a crystal ball, but we all kind of have in our mind an idea of, do I really want to stay in my house in 5 years, or do I want to move near my grandchildren? Do I think I would really enjoy a assisted living facility? And I'm not sure if assisted living is the right term, but a place that's more social and has more people.
Independent
living. Where they actually cook for me every day. And a lot of folks think that would be just terrific. And so you've got to start thinking about where do you see yourself in 5 years, and then put your plan together to make that work. It's like in sales, you always have a sales plan. You know, what am I going to do this year, and how am I going to accomplish my goals? Well, when you stop working and you no longer have to have an income planning goal, you absolutely still need to have a goal and a plan for now that the money's going out the door and you're retired. It's just very important. So I think having a workshop that people can come and find out all the different aspects, of what a good plan would be wonderful.
Yeah, you know, and we were just one of the things we were going to cover today is the list of upcoming topics at the events there at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. And again, if you're not familiar with the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, that is the home now for helping seniors. We have our offices. It's where Kim Bernard is, and all the work that we do as helping seniors comes from that facility. It's co-located with the beautiful new Zaun Beachside. They have that whole thing they call the Lighthouse Edition. So it's right over there on South Patrick Drive, just as you come across the causeway, the Old Galley Causeway. So it's a great location. It's always pleasant over on the beachside. And so we're going to be doing a series of events, free, open to the public. It's the Helping Seniors Community Education Series. The first one is coming up Thursday, September. Let me make sure I say the right date. I believe it's the 26th, but Thursday would be the 26th. So it's Thursday, September 26th at 10 a.m. Now, you do need to RSVP. You can call 321-473-7770, or you can go online and make your reservation if you're on the Facebook. Just look it up, and there's a link that will get you there to from the Helping Seniors page.
And I think the first 40 get a free lunch.
That's right. And I was going to say, the reason you do want to RSVP is you're welcome as long as space is available. But if you RSVP before the 19th, which is tomorrow, then you are assured that you get a nice little lunch afterwards provided by Zaun. The whole thing happens in a 1 hour thing. And tomorrow, and the event on Thursday, the 26th, is to meet all the people and the resources that are available to you at the Senior Resource Center. But I think maybe in January we should work about putting together some sort of a develop your own aging plan kind of seminar.
I would love to be a part of that, Kerry. I think it's a great idea.
Well, I think it's a great idea too, because I can think of have that, and we've got an elder law attorney, we've got a financial expert, and the kind of piece that we're missing is the undertaker, because when I used to do this series on at BCC when I was taping the show over there, I had a 3-legged stool and a 4-legged stool that seniors could sit on, and each one they always had a financial side, they had a legal side, and they had the burial side, because the burial side is the one that we don't want to talk about, or you make a decision as to where you want to have. You might want to be cremated. Your children may not want you to be cremated. You may want to be cremated and buried someplace. Your children may want you to be buried whole someplace where they can go pray over your body. I'd rather hope that they could kneel someplace and look up and pray to me, and not look down and pray at me.
That's right.
That's my preference too, Joe.
Yeah, my preference is for them to look up and not look down.
Right.
But this is something we can joke about it, but it is serious, folks. It's some of the most challenging problems families have is to make a decision as to how we're going to dispose of objects.
Yeah.
Objects to include wealth, family heirlooms. I can think of 2 spinning wheels we have. We've tried to give those to 2 of our granddaughters, and they never seem to be ready to take the spinning wheels. And I'm going to have to try to convince them that they need to stay in the family, so we get them to take the spinning wheels. And we also got a couple of sewing machines, like for some of those grandchildren. They need to learn how to sew. I remember my mother used to make her own clothes. And I can remember when Terry would sew. But, we move on beyond those days because it's so easy to go to the stores, and with the sales on, you can buy things that really, really look nice. And over the last couple of years, I got attached to these doggone things they call these Real Legend shirts. I think they're very, very comfortable, and I keep going to the stores and buying one and take it home and find I got one like it. But it's more like a fetish that you want to do these things. And when you get old, you want to be comfortable. You can be comfortable, folks, if you have access to good information on which to make a good decision. And if you can make a good decision on your assets, or how you're going to protect your assets, or how you're going to protect yourself, I don't think it can go wrong. Kerry, Barbara, comment on that, please.
I really agree that you sleep better. I sleep better knowing that I have made those plans, and that it's already handled. My children aren't going to have to worry about disposing of things. I still ask them what they want and put their name on the bottom of stuff, and I'm 66 now, so I'm hoping I got quite a bit of time, but you never know. But as far as the plans, the burial plans and all of that, they're made. I recently went to 2 memorial services. Every single aspect of those services were planned by the 2 women who were actually close to my age who had passed away. And their kids were so grateful. I know that sounds strange, but both women made all the plans, down to the music that was played, and wrote their own stories. It was really amazing. And I've got more to work to do on that, but I think it's a kindness for your children when you make those plans ahead of time.
Well, that's what you do. You put that in your computer, and it's called The End.
The End.
The End. And I'm going to work on The End, and now that I get closer to the end, it's a lot harder to go back and look at it than it was 5 years ago.
Well, that's another reason to get everything started early,
Yeah.
too, because one of the key things is, we talk about this a lot. You call any fire station around Brevard County and ask them, would you rather come out and put the fire out on my house, or would you rather come over to my house, have a look through, tell me things that I should do that would prevent the fire? And I would be shocked if any firefighter wouldn't say, we want to come over and help you prevent the fire. And that's what helping seniors is really about. We want to help you prevent that fire. Let's get these things organized, because the problem for most of us is we run up on the scene of the accident. We have an aging parent. Something's now happened. It becomes a crisis. We're not prepared because we don't have the information. We've never spent any time on this. So all of a sudden, we're learning on the fly. I had a friend who had an expression, it's like building an airplane while you're running down the runway. You're just trying to hope that you can get the thing off the ground. And when you're in a crisis mode, that's the best you can do is pray and hope for the best. But a little planning would go a long way to making the whole process easier. Even when you were talking about final plans and wishes, if you're a good kid, you agonize over wanting to treat your parents right all the way through. You want to do the thing that you want. And so if there's siblings and one says, well, I think mom would want that or dad might want that, a great way to solve that is because now you've already said this is, and then everybody can just relax about it. It's sad enough and duff enough anyway.
Wait a minute, why are you asking if mom or dad would want it? Mom or dad should be asking them if they want it.
No, I'm saying if you're
what
they sit around, well, mom's gone on to be with the Lord, and then you're like, well, mom would want the funeral this way. They would want that song played. This is a funny story. It's a true story in our family, and it was a tough story, but, when there was a song that our daughter Anna likes to play on the piano, and every night she would be practicing the piano about the time that Tammy's mother was cooking dinner, and she would say, "Oh, I want you to play that song at my funeral." Now that's a blessing and a curse. So when that day came, Anna said, "Nope, that's what my grandmother said over and over, and somehow I'm going to do this," and she did, and she played it perfectly, and it was a beautiful part of the whole service.
Yeah, that's really a sweet story, actually. Yeah, I really do think that it takes so much pressure off the family when mom or dad made it clear what they wanted at the final moments. And it is a tough time when you've lost your mom. You just don't want to be having to make those decisions.
Right.
And it's so much easier when you can just pull out what is it called? 7 wishes. There's something even published that can allow people to start making their own pre-planning. Yes. And there it is, you're gone. You've already told your kids where that's located. And so many of the decisions are already made. It's a kindness.
And if people really want to admit it, and I say this based on my own thinking, that once you make a decision as to which child is going to get a certain percentage of the estate and which ones are going to get this, it's always something you think about. You cannot forget it. And I think one of the reasons that the good Lord doesn't let you forget it, because He keeps pressurizing you to do the very, very best you can to make the right decision about what you do with your wealth. And I think I say this because I have been in the fundraising business for 30 years. I've even taught courses on it at national organizations, to the National Federation of Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers, had 2,000 members, and I taught a course on fundraising here years ago, and I have a DVD on it. And that probably will surprise Kerry that I do have something like that I put this together long before I met Kerry, and maybe I'll just give him one of these things to take a look at.
Yes,
but it's
absolutely.
It's got some sound, valid information on it, and it shows you that we never cease to learn. We always are in the learning mode, and as long as we're willing to accept the fact that change can be made, change is possible, and that the good Lord provides an element within our brain that sort of causes us to do the very best we can to do the right thing. And there was a movie called The Right Stuff, and I remember that very vividly, and it shows what the power of the human brain can do when it comes down to living your life. And I think it's never been said better by a guy named Pastor Bob Bourne, who wrote a book out in California. And do you remember the name of the book, Kerry?
No, I don't. I sure don't.
You don't even know who Pastor Bob Bourne is?
No, I don't.
Holy mackerel!
Oh, no.
We're going to have a discussion about this because now Nancy's our Barbara's already on her phone looking up Pastor Bob Warren but this has to do with.
You talking about Rick Warren?
Rick Warren.
Rick Warren, I know. Bob Warren, I don't.
Okay, I got the right way. Rick Warren. What was the book you wrote?
Purpose-driven life.
Purpose-driven life. He has some reasons in there as to why we do what we do, folks.
Yes.
And I don't care what denomination you are. It gives you good information in that book, and I highly recommend that you go to the library and check it out. Yes. Purpose-Driven Life, written by Pastor Rick Warren. It's non-denominational. It can be applied to any religion, but the thing is, it fits almost everyone, and it's just really, really something that's well written. So, we still got time. We still have time.
Well, then we can talk about the car raffle coming up.
Oh, good idea.
Okay, you go ahead and pick that up.
Well, this is exciting, folks, and you are hearing this here first. There is a 2019-2020 Helping Seniors car raffle that you want to be part of. The date is already set, April 25th, 2017, at the lovely and spacious and beautiful and just cool American Muscle Car Museum. And this year, Joe has sat down with AJ, and they have worked out something that is absolutely unbelievable. Last year, you had a choice of 3 brand new cars. So how do we top that? We give you a choice of 4 brand new cars. So listen to this, folks. We've got a couple of neat. Everybody loved the Dodge Challenger. If you remember our winner last year, that's what she went home with. So that's back. That's in the pole position. Now, who else is here? We're bringing something new this year. There is a Kia Sorento, which, if you guys know, that's that beautiful Sportage. It's that crossover vehicle. What a neat car that is. And then we also are bringing back, to do popular demand, that Mazda Miata convertible. That was a personal favorite. I enjoyed driving that to and from events. And then this is it, because AJ now has the Boniface Hire Chevrolet dealership. So guess what? How about a brand new red Camaro? Would that be amazing? So now it's going to be even tougher on those occasions where we'll be able to get all 4 cars side by side. It's always fun to watch people walk through. And for your $25 ticket and 5 for $100, your ticket not only gives you a shot at winning your choice of those cars, it gives you the admission for the drawing night for admit 1 for each ticket for the American Muscle Car Museum in the grand drawing. And third, of course, this is how we are able to do the work of helping seniors. We cannot do it without your help. So we need you to get involved. Buy tickets. Tell your friends to buy tickets. Buy lots of tickets. Increase your chances of winning.
Well, another good thing I would like to point out to people is that those tickets are also available as a Christmas present.
Yes.
And I've had a number of people that wanted that last year. Are you playing music, John? That means I got to shut up. Okay, folks, we're going to have to wind the show up today. I hope that you've benefited today because a lot of good information was put out. You can always call us at 473-7770 to find out what we talked about today if you want to do that or other information. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Kerry. We'll see you all next week. And thank you, John, for running the board. See you next week. Bye-bye.